To this day, this is still one of the best grinder meets I've ever had, and honestly, I nearly ruined it before it even started because I was just panicking that much. Welcome to another episode of Gay Talk. Welcome to Gay Talk. Yes! Back in 2018, I was a merchant seafarer. My ship had just came into port, and we were going to be in port for a few days. Now, after being at sea for a few weeks, all you want to do is get off the ship and go and explore. So one night I'd finished work early, I was absolutely bored, the ship was in port, and I thought, what better thing to do than to go on Grindr? Now, Grindr back then for me was just some form of entertainment. I liked going on Grindr because I liked the attention I got from guys, if I'm being completely honest. I liked to feel wanted, I liked to have guys chasing me, and I guess it was just a sense of feeling secure. Now, that's me just being honest with you, so I was on it all the time. So, whilst I was on Grindr for the attention and being chased by guys, I was also on it because when I was emergency fitter, I had no friends. So, just having simple messages coming in from guys talking to me about general things in life, getting to know me, I enjoyed that aspect of it as well. It kept me entertained and made time fly by. So I think at that stage, Grindr had almost become addictive for me. So that night, I'm sitting down and I'm in the crew mess. I'm just having my dinner and I'm on my phone browsing Grindr. I get this message from this insanely good looking guy. He had a big Adam's apple, nice dark hair, lovely facial features, and I kind of felt like it was too good to be true. I felt like this was just one of these bots or fake profiles. So initially, I decided to just try and ignore that profile for as long as I could. Maybe wait and see if another text message came through so I knew it was a genuine profile. So a few more texts did come flooding on through, and he was saying, "Hi, how are you? Are you interested in meeting up?" And explained that he was in the Navy. At that point, I'm like, right, okay, I work closely with the Navy. This is probably going to be a bit awkward if I engage in a conversation here. So I ignore him briefly for about 20 minutes. At that point, I guess the urge was too much. Back then, I was always quite nervous and shy when I was arranging meets with people. I would often talk to people on Grindr and chicken out last minute because I genuinely couldn't build myself up to go meet them. The nerves, the anxiety, the fear of rejection, it all got to me, like, just on the lead up to meeting someone, and I would often check it out and not go. So at this point, I'm thinking, nah, grow a set. You've got to go meet people. If you don't meet people, you're just going to be lonely your whole life. So with that thought of being lonely my whole life and not experiencing things with guys, I finally decided that I'm just going to message him and we're just going to arrange this meet. You only live once, and this guy was really attractive. And I guess when you're 18 years old, you have quite a high drive. So anyway, we start getting down to business and we start arranging this meet. Now, obviously, we're planning on where he's going to pick me up from. We're asking each other questions on if we're compatible with each other. We make it crystal clear that this is only a hookup, nothing's going to come of it. And we're just doing that general chats just to make sure that we both know what to expect before the meet takes place. So, one of my biggest fears when meeting guys is that I don't want the meet to be awkward and uncomfortable. I made an excuse with this guy stating that I had to be back on the ship by midnight, and he was planning to pick me up at 9 o'clock. So if things were to go awkward, I knew I had an excuse that I'd already told him on Grindr, which meant he had to take me back to the ship by midnight. That was my way of thinking that if it was to go bad or it was to get weird or uncomfortable, then I know what time roughly that I would be back on the ship at. I don't know. Looking back at it now, it was pointless and I shouldn't have done it, but that was my thought process as an 18-year-old. I guess in 18-year-old Brandon's mind, he just needed an escape route in case something was to go horribly wrong or awkward. So anyway, I can remember that I'm leaving the ship and I'm going down the gangway. And as I'm going down the gangway, my heart is beating so fast. I'm full of nerves. I know this guy's really hot and I just feel like he's way too good for me. I don't know why I always feel like this when I meet good looking guys, but I just felt like he was way out of my league. So my heart is pumping really, really fast, and I've got butterflies in my stomach at that stage. So when I get to the bottom of the gangway, I've got about a 5 minute walk until I'm at the port entrance gate, and that's where this guy is going to be picking me up from. So in my head, I've got 5 minutes to try and get rid of these butterflies in my stomach, get rid of these nerves, and try and build a bit of confidence in myself to show this guy that, yeah, I know I'm worth this or whatnot. I didn't want to come across as being too shy, as I didn't want to put this guy off me when I jump in his car. So as I'm walking through the port and heading towards the port gate, I realize that this guy's not giving me a description of his car. So I ask him quickly, what type of car are you in? What color is it? So I'm not jumping into a stranger's car. He gives me a description of his car and I get to the gates. I see his car outside and again, my heart just starts racing super fast, butterflies in my belly. This guy drove like this Skoda Octavia car. It was an estate, and I don't know why. I feel like that's quite masculine and manly. It might not seem like that to you guys, but to me, it did. It wasn't like this guy that's got a small sports car and is just trying to impress people. This guy had a practical car, and yeah, I don't know why, but that just made me feel even better and stronger towards him. So I start walking over to his car, and as I'm walking over to his car, I've got these butterflies in my belly, which are increasing. My heart rate's going 1,000 beats a minute. Part of me wants to turn back and go back into the base because it's a lot easier to go back in there than deal with the feelings that I'm going to have to deal with by going in his car. But I just proceeded to go to his car. In my head, I'm thinking, do I knock on his door? Do I just open his door? I'm overthinking everything at this stage. But I just go up to his car. He knows to expect me. And I open his car door and jump inside. So as I jump in his car, I remember him just looking at me. My first impressions of this guy is he's a lot more handsome in person than he was on his Grindr profile pictures. He's taller than I expected. His head's nearly touching the roof of his car. His clothing sense is amazing. He's got these light blue jeans on. He's got these brown shoes on, a nice jacket on, and he's got a shirt on. I just felt, again, like I'm in paradise. Like, how am I able to meet someone like this? Is what I was feeling. I guess it felt a bit awkward because I couldn't give him eye contact. I was just quickly glancing him up and down and looking out the window because I felt so shy. But instantly he relieved those nerves by reaching over and having a kiss. So that kiss instantly put me at ease. I don't know why I always feel like guys are going to think that my grinder pictures are different to how I am in person. I don't know why I always feel like I'm probably going to look fatter to them in person than I am on my grinder pictures and stuff like that. So I guess it's a very, very strong fear of rejection, and I just never want to be confronted with a situation where I'm rejected by a guy in person like that. So by him kissing me, like at this point, I know that this hookup is going to be serious and that he likes what he sees. So anyway, we start driving up this hill, and it's a very romantic spot. It's got a lighthouse on the top of it. It's got a nice view of the stars and a beautiful view of the sea ahead. At that point, I'm thinking, damn, this guy's chosen a pretty romantic spot for a hookup. So when we get to the top of the hill, me and this guy go and lie in the back of his car. Now he's got a panoramic sunroof, so we're cuddling, we're looking up at the stars, and we're just talking about both of our jobs as we both work at sea. We're showing a genuine interest in each other at this point. It's a very calm atmosphere, and I genuinely feel safe, loved, and wanted. At that point, we start making out. One thing leads to another, and we do the deed. After we've done the deed, we both sit back up. We're talking more about our jobs, more about our lives, and I guess it just felt normal. It felt like love, even though we both knew it was just a hookup. It probably just felt like love because I'd been at sea for a few weeks beforehand and I felt lonely. But yeah, it's insane how fast you can pick up feelings towards someone in like 2 hours just because they make you feel that loved, that wanted, and give you that attention, I guess. As midnight was approaching, I regretted giving that guy the excuse that I had to be back on the ship. I was enjoying this hookup so much, and we were chatting about loads of different things in life. We had lost track of time. It was fastly approaching midnight, and we had to start heading back to the ship. I knew that I didn't want to leave. Like, I loved just chilling with this guy. He was a complete vibe. It was someone to talk to, and it was genuinely more than just a hookup. We were like friends. We developed such a friendship over that 3 hours that we had been with each other. I just genuinely didn't want it to end. As we were heading back to the ship, I just wanted to spend more time with him. The stories that he'd been telling me throughout the night, I could have listened to for hours and hours. They were so, so good. I instantly felt very, very disappointed in myself. Obviously, I'd sent him that message before I had met him, telling him that I had to be back at the ship by 12 o'clock for a watch. And if you're on a watch, you're on a watch. So I couldn't even tell him that I wasn't required to go back to the ship, as that would have just made him look at me and not trust me anymore. So I'd really screwed myself up here and I was regretting it so, so much. I had created an escape route and then I realized that I didn't really want to escape. The good thing about this meet in particular was after we had both gone our separate ways, We'd added each other on Snapchat and we had talked for ages afterwards. It wasn't just a hookup and go. I genuinely felt like a friendship had came from this. Throughout the weeks and months we were talking to each other, I genuinely did feel like something more could have came from this, as both of our vibes were matching, and we both, I believe, did want something to come from it. But with us both working at sea, would a relationship have ever worked out? Probably not. He would be away for 6 months, I'd be away for 4 months, and by the time you both came home, you probably wouldn't see each other. So realistically, that would have never have worked anyway. So I guess the sad part about this story is a few months after we met, we weren't talking frequently, but it was like once a week or so. And he had deleted Grindr as he no longer wanted to be on it. I remember that I deleted my Snapchat account as I had created a new one. I obviously had loads of friends on my other one that weren't talking or whatever, and instead of going through them all, I created a whole new account. I think I left about 2 or 3 weeks and realized that I hadn't added him on my new Snapchat account, and at that point it was too late. I only had him on Grindr and Snapchat, so there was no way for me to contact him. And like I said, I didn't remember his username. So that's the sad part about the story. Communication was eventually lost completely. And all I've got about that guy now is the sweet, fond memories that I will cherish for my life, genuinely. I've obviously done a few Grindr story times on this channel, and this is one of the few meets that were the best meets I've ever had on Grindr. It's weird how someone can be in your life briefly, but still stay in your memory forever. So I think this just goes to show that good things can come from Grindr. You can get friendships from Grindr. You can get relationships from Grindr. It might be rare that you're ever going to get that, but it's still possible that those two things can come from Grindr. Sometimes a genuine connection can come from absolutely nowhere or places where you least expect it. I didn't go on Grindr that day thinking I was going to have a friend at the end of it, but it happened. This guy made that meet so romantic to the point that I remember every single detail of that meet years later. It's something that I'll remember for the rest of my life. So if this guy's watching that video, thank you so much. It genuinely means the world to me. And maybe that is where we're going wrong in this day and age. We're all going for hookups and stuff, but we're not putting any effort in. We're not going that extra mile to make it romantic. Therefore, the person that we're hooking up with is not having everlasting memories being created from that. Now, fair enough if all you want to do is go and have a hookup or whatnot, but if you want something to come of that, then maybe it's time that we start changing things up and we start being a bit more romantic to one another, because I genuinely feel that would make such a difference. And maybe people would stop having hookups and they would actually try and get something more from it. Have any of you guys ever had a meetup that you cannot forget? Have you had a meetup that you remember for years later? I'd genuinely be interested to know in the comment section below this video. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to like, subscribe, and share the video. The engagement helps a video so much, so please definitely like and subscribe if you're new, guys. Thank you guys for watching this episode of Gay Talk, and I'll see you in the next one. Yes!